My name is Ted Shue and I'm a solutions architect. Flexibility is probably the most significant feature that we take advantage of. Being a large company with a lot of customized solutions, migrating from our legacy applications into PPM obviously has been a major challenge. This flexibility of PPM, our ability to customize it and configure it to our needs, has been a big selling point of the tool. Probably the biggest reason for going with SaaS is the thin footprint. Obviously not having to engage our internal resources to basically support the infrastructure for PPM was a big selling point. The ability to essentially upgrade without a lot of involvement from our staff was another big selling point for us. Obviously the vision is essentially to have transparent upgrades for the tool with minimal effort on our side. And certainly going with the SaaS solution has allowed us to basically upgrade the application in a matter of weeks rather than spending months planning for the upgrade. The major benefit, our legacy applications, right now we have approximately 600 IT projects spanning 12 different portfolios. In today's world, or in our old world, we had essentially a number of different solutions supporting the 600 projects and 12 portfolios. The vision that PPM has allowed us to take advantage of is now we have consolidated all our portfolios and projects under one tool instead of a multitude of solutions. We all now talk the same language, if you will. So, in the past, with everybody having their own spreadsheet-based solution, when you essentially tried to talk project status, you really had to understand what their solutions were for managing their portfolios and their projects. By having everything consolidated under PPM, now everybody has a unified way of looking into their project. So when you talk about what's red, yellow, and green for your project status, it isn't essentially this grab bag of, well, that depends on how you measure it. We're all now being measured by the same tool, being PPM. So when we talk about our status being red, yellow, or green, we all know exactly what that means, because essentially it's all PPM speak and not essentially some homegrown solution supporting the various portfolios. Very stable. We have not had a single issue with the SaaS solution for PPM since we've been on board. We came on board live in production about a year ago, and we have not experienced a single outage with SaaS solutions since we've gone live. So obviously, knock on wood, we understand that in the IT world, downtime is a fact of the way things work, but as of a year in production, we have yet to encounter an outage that has impacted our user base. Indeed, we have used technical support. More so from a development perspective, though, not from obviously an issue with production outage or issues in their production environment. Being that we're looking to configure the tool in different ways to satisfy the needs of our various portfolios, we've actually had some conversations with CA support to help us understand how we can essentially move from the vanilla PPM to something that obviously suits the needs of our business. So they've been very responsive with regards to answering our questions on how exactly we can move from today's world to what we need to do in the future. We actually employed an implementation partner. So with PPM, there are a lot of consulting firms that specialize in PPM implementations. We actually picked an implementation partner who helped us through the various questions and considerations to evaluate before we went live. So certainly doing it ourselves would have been a little intimidating, but with the help and assistance of CA Services and an implementation partner, actually the migration from our legacy solutions to now a PPM-based solution has been relatively painless. We're really looking forward to the integration of Agile Central into PPM. I mean, obviously we now have a solution that services the needs of our project managers and our portfolio directors. Being able to integrate Agile Central into our solution base here obviously allows us to extend the reach of PPM from the project management and portfolio managers all the way down to the actual development teams. So obviously bringing everybody under a consolidated umbrella will help unify beginning to end life cycle of our projects. The big thing for us from a timesheet management, we have a legacy timesheet management solution that we're moving off of into PPM. It goes down to the activity level for the recording of time, and in the current PPM solution, while they handle the reporting of time to the individual tasks on your project plans really nicely, breaking it down to the individual activity level, such as requirements, design, different support activities, the tool doesn't necessarily play in that space really nicely, so certainly we'd like to see them do a little bit more with regards to taking that time recording down to a lower level of detail. And of course for us it's all about analytics, and of course project management thrives on analytics. we had a plethora of solutions, and of course they all did things a little bit differently. So when we tried to take a look at the overall portfolio of all our IT projects, there was really nothing to unify everybody under one common solution. So essentially, if you talk to one portfolio, they manage things in a certain way, and then a different portfolio would do it completely different. And of course, when you tried to look at the overall IT budget, it got to be a very complex solution. And of course, if you try to take a holistic look at it, of course, you have resources and projects, and you have your plan budgets. Nothing was under the same umbrella, so it's kind of like a hodgepodge, and a lot of manual time and effort went into basically having just a simple conversation on, hey, what do we want to do next year? So bringing everything into PPM, now the conversation's about what we want to do next year and the whole what-if scenarios that come out with regards to, hey, well, what if we do this? What if we do that? And instead of taking weeks and months to have those discussions, we can now have them real time, right here and right now. We did have 5 other vendors on our short list, and we did take an exhaustive look at all 5 of them. In the end, it really came down to CA PPM's flexibility and the ability for it to basically configure itself to meet the needs of our organization, and its ability to be a SaaS solution rather than an on-premise solution. So certainly we're looking to have a unified solution that we can essentially standardize the company, but still configure it so that it's specific to our needs, but yet obviously have it hosted at an external site where we don't have to necessarily spend the time and energy to make it happen. I would definitely give it a 10. I mean, it's definitely met and exceeded all our expectations with regard to the tool. So we knew we'd have to make some concessions with the tool. Obviously, if you're moving from your completely customized solution to one that's more of a package-based solution, we figured we'd have to give up on some things with regards to our process, but we found with PPM, it's so flexible and so configurable that everything that we had customized for our homegrown solutions, we were able to actually port directly into PPM. And now essentially we've got a standardized solution across our whole entire organization that still has all the benefits of our homegrown solutions that we had in the past. I would definitely recommend to come to CA World and talk to all the other companies that have implemented PPM solutions to see how they did it. Because one thing we definitely learned 2 years ago here when we were doing our evaluation of PPM, that everyone we spoke to here had accolades about how they loved the tool and what they were doing with it. And of course, when you kind of hear all the stories of how they basically moved from their legacy solutions to a PPM-based solution, you quickly realize that it can do everything you need to do more and more.